Most sellers think that hiring is just about finding a candidate with the right skill set. But they couldn't be more wrong. The people who break your business the most often look perfect on paper. Great resumes, solid test results, strong interviews. That's why it is so dangerous. But once you actually start working with them, you realize something's off. You hire to get back your time, but these people suck it out of you without you even realizing it. And I always say, hiring the wrong person is worse than not hiring at all. I've experienced this firsthand while building our own team and also while helping dozens of other sellers build theirs. So in this video, I'll walk you through the types of employees you must avoid, what they look like, why they slow you down, and exactly how to avoid them. So let's dive in. The Snowflake. You've definitely met this type of person before. When you first meet them, they are polite, friendly, and genuinely eager to do a great job. They seem like the kind of person you'd love to have on your team, someone who cares about their work. But then comes the moment you need to give them feedback. And that's when things get tricky, because even the slightest constructive criticism feels personal to them. They go quiet, get defensive, or completely ghost you. They stop asking questions, they stop taking initiative. Instead of coaching them and improving their skills, you find yourself tiptoeing around conversations, avoiding giving feedback at all. They are impossible to coach. They see feedback as criticism, not as an opportunity to improve. This is dangerous because in a fast-growing business, feedback loops are crucial. Without it, people don't improve and your team doesn't get better. So how do you spot the snowflake before you hire? Here's exactly what I do during the interview. I like to point out one mistake from the skill test they completed during the application process. Just one thing, even a minor one, that I genuinely think could have been done better. Then I watch closely how they react. Are they grateful for the insight? Do they ask follow-up questions and try to understand your perspective? Or do they immediately become defensive and annoyed? Their reaction in that moment tells you everything you need to know. Because ultimately you need people who embrace feedback, not ones who fall apart when they receive it. The skeptic. This must be the most frustrating of them all. At first, you are actually impressed by how smart they seem. They are analytical, thoughtful, and detail-oriented. But every time you bring a new idea, launch a new project, or suggest trying something different, they immediately start pointing out problems. This won't work, this is too risky, now it's not a great time. So you find yourself constantly second-guessing every move. At first, you might even appreciate it because, hey, they're saving you from mistakes, right? But eventually, you notice nothing moves forward because everything suddenly feels so hard. You find yourself feeling drained by endless discussions about everything that could go wrong. The real issue is that they bring you problems instead of solutions. Instead of helping you navigate around obstacles, they become the obstacle. So here's how you spot this before you hire. In your interview, describe a tough project you'd like them to work on. And just listen carefully to the way they talk. What you want is someone who is solution-oriented and says things like, here's how we could make that work. We could try to do this and that. If their immediate reaction is just listing problems and why things won't work, that's your red flag. Because at the end of the day, you want people who bring you solutions and not problems. The Freestyler. At first, they seem capable, confident, and experienced. They give you the impression that they'll get things done. But every time you hand them a task, they do it their own way. They skip steps and ignore instructions. When you ask why, they usually say something like, I know how to do it. At first you might let it slide thinking, hey, as long as it gets done, but systems and processes exist for a reason. Balls get dropped, deadlines get missed, and before you know it, your business turns into chaos. You build those systems so you wouldn't have to worry about every little detail, but now you are forced back into firefighting mode. The real problem is that this type of person simply ignores structure, and that's dangerous. Because systems are how you scale. Without them, your business quickly falls apart. Here's exactly how you spot the freestyler before you hire. In your test assignment, include very specific instructions. For example, deliver the task by this exact date and time. Provide results in a Google spreadsheet and record a quick 5-minute Loom video walking through your approach. You'll be shocked how many people still do it their own way. Sure, they might reach the right result, but following instructions is non-negotiable, unless you're okay with your business turning into total chaos. The turtle. At first glance, they seem careful and thorough, the type of hire you assume will deliver high-quality work. On paper, everything looks great. But then you hand them their first task. A simple task that would take you an hour somehow turns into a 2-day project. At first you might think like they're being careful, maybe they're still learning. But it keeps happening, again and again. Instead of moving forward, you're stuck checking in constantly, waiting for updates that never come fast enough. And this literally happened to me a few months ago. Something that used to take me 15 minutes turned into 3-hour tasks. Like, how's that possible? The real issue here is simple. They don't understand that speed is king. And for your business, that's dangerous. Because in a growing company, speed matters just as much as accuracy. So here's exactly how you spot this type before you hire. During the hiring process, always give them a skill test. But here's the trick. Also ask them to report how long it took them to finish the task. You'll notice huge differences in their answers. Some people finish it in like 20 minutes, while others spend 3 or 4 hours, even though the result is basically identical. What you're looking for are people who naturally understand how to balance quality with speed. The question mark. They've got the right experience, pass all your tests, and seem totally capable of doing the job. But once you start actually working with them, things get complicated. You're stuck going back and forth again and again, just trying to get simple things done. They don't ask good questions, they don't clearly explain their work, and when something's off, you feel like you have to become a detective to figure out what actually happened. At first, you might think, well, maybe I wasn't clear enough. But pretty soon you realize this is an everyday issue. Instead of saving you time, they actually end up creating more work. The real problem is simple. They can't communicate clearly. And poor communication is incredibly expensive. It slows you down, wastes hours, and kills productivity, especially as your team grows. Here's exactly how you spot this before you hire. During the hiring process, pay attention not only to their final test result, but also to how they present it. In your interview, ask them questions like this. Can you walk me through your thought process here? Or why did you decide to do it this way? And then just listen closely. Do they explain themselves clearly and logically, or do they leave you feeling confused with lots of unanswered questions? The old reliable. You probably hired this person early on, reliable, consistent, always available when you need them. At the beginning, they did pretty much whatever you needed, helping with customer support, admin tasks, minor listing updates, you name it. At first, this seems perfect, exactly what you needed when your business was small. But then your business started growing and you needed something more from them. You wanted them to step up, to take on more responsibility, more ownership. But instead, you felt pushback. And you started realizing something important. Without you constantly telling them exactly what to do, how to do it, and when, they don't get far. Having extra hands was great at the beginning, but now you need extra brains too. And here's the tricky part. This person isn't actively causing problems. They are loyal, they care, you feel responsible for them. And you don't want to admit that there is an issue because honestly they've helped you a lot in the past. But deep down, you know it's not working anymore. They are slowing you down, the role evolved, but they didn't. And the longer you take to accept that, the worse it gets. So here's the filter I use now. Every time I feel this way, I imagine I'm hiring for this role fresh, right now, reflecting the actual size, pace, and complexity of the business today. And I ask myself, if this person wasn't already on my team, would I hire them for this role today? If the honest answer is no, that tells you everything you need to know. But hey, maybe there's still a place for them in your business. It's just often not where you initially imagined. They might still be great as a personal assistant, someone who helps you directly, but nothing more, nothing less. Look, at the end of the day, hiring isn't easy. Even if you do everything right, sometimes you're still gonna make a bad hire. And when that happens, the key is simple. Hire slow, fire fast. Don't drag things out, hoping they'll magically get better. Just cut your losses quickly and move on. It's exactly like launching products. Sometimes you hit a winner, sometimes you don't. The important thing is you keep moving. And here's the good news. Hiring is actually getting way easier now thanks to AI. You can literally have AI acting like your own personal HR manager, guiding you step by step through the hiring process, saving you hours of headaches and guesswork. I actually created a detailed video where I break down exactly how you can do that, step by step from start to finish using AI. I recently found out that people literally charge thousands for trainings like this, but don't worry, this one is completely free right here on my channel, so I will see you there.